Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, should the all ages, HollywoodShono here, about to give you the Elimination Chamber review from HollywoodShono. A lot of people wondering why I didn't review the Elimination Chamber right on Monday and why I didn't do it as Monday's daily vlog. The reason for that is that I wanted to actually watch Monday Night Raw to see what unfolded Monday night and see what kind of storylines, and that way we could see a development on future opponents. Now that I have seen Raw, we will get into that later in the review. However, let's start off by talking about the pay-per-view. First off is the match on the kickoff show. If anyone would have thought that the three jobbers, naming Elias, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet, are actually going to have a chance of being victorious and getting a title opportunity, be it the US or even outside of the 24/7 title, you're oblivious to the way that the business works. Because The Miz took himself out of the Elimination Chamber to try to get John Morrison in, it makes perfect sense having John Morrison win. And let's face it, Elias and Mustafa Ali are boring. Ricochet has proven that he can go and that he is entertaining. However, he's booked in bad storylines with Ali. He is super athletic, and the other two are just a big, giant waste of time. And every time that Elias has a match, he pretty much loses. He loses a lot more than he wins, and Ali is in a dead faction that makes absolutely no sense and is making his career go nowhere. The sooner Retribution dies off, the sooner that maybe Ali will actually be relevant, and the happier that I'll be. None of the NXT people deserve to be on Raw, even as a sidekick to a loser. And let's face it, Mustafa Ali's a loser. Alright, so next up, we're going to be talking about the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match. I'm going to admit, I was hoping that Cesaro would actually win this thing. I also had a feeling Baron Corbin, who is in desperate need of a gimmick change, kind of like Seth Rollins ended up realizing his Messiah gimmick was boring, and in desperate need of a gimmick change. And I knew that he'd be the first one to get eliminated because, let's face it, he hasn't done anything other than beating up Dominic Mysterio, who is definitely not worthy of a championship. I'm also surprised how strong Kevin Owens was against Roman Reigns and how early he got eliminated and ended up losing to Roman Reigns 3 times because of cheating, and that's the only way that he lost. Makes zero sense whatsoever. We call that lazy booking. Why not take the belt off Roman Reigns? He doesn't need a championship like Kevin Owens probably does, even though when he was champion, he was just like The Miz, a cowardly champion, not deserving of it. So I can kind of see why they kept it on Roman Reigns. I wish they would have pushed Cesaro years ago, and because of this, he's stuck in the mid-card, a guy who is over really impressive power move. When you can spin the Great Khali around, you've done some great things. And he can't even catch a break due to bad, lazy booking. In the end, the only real main eventer won, which was Daniel Bryan. However, once again, Roman Reigns, the worst Universal Champion we've ever had in years, won a match against Daniel Bryan, who went 34 minutes in the chamber. Another sign of bad, lazy booking, another reason to turn the TV off whenever Roman Reigns is on the television or in a match. He gets booed because he's super boring and doesn't deserve a push. The highlight of this match was watching Roman Reigns sell the spear from Edge, as he is facing him at WrestleMania. Obviously, we already know that Edge is going to take the belt from Roman Reigns, have a good run on SmackDown before he fades into oblivion and going out on his terms. And then he could have those matches with Daniel Bryan. He could have those matches with Baron Corbin. He could have a match with Sami Zayn, who honestly is one of the best on the mic. Let's give a little credit to Sami Zayn. If you want that annoying heel who tries his best and is a great talker, I think Sami Zayn is the one that needs to get pushed and somebody that they need to look at. Even if he just goes back after the Intercontinental Championship, at least he's a guy that shows that he tries, and it doesn't look like his lines are fed like most of the others. I'm going to give a little shout out to Sami Zayn. Keep doing what you're doing. It's annoying, but it's a lot less annoying than Roman Reigns hogging a title he does not deserve. Alright, and next up on the agenda is the US title match. The whole reason this is a triple threat match is obviously to push Bobby Lashley. I don't know what the hell is going on with Keith Lee. We ended up seeing Reckoning from Retribution on Raw, so I'm guessing Keith Lee got hurt, or Keith Lee is just getting punished for being a fat slob with boring generic music that they need to change back to Limitless as soon as possible. Seth Rollins got his music changed, change his music, change Bobby Lashley's back. Get Aleister Black out of catering. You have Riddle win, who is deserving of the spot, even if he's a stoner bro, beating John Morrison, who weaseled his way into the match in the first place by winning a fatal 4-way in the pre-show. It's a wasted opportunity since coming back to the WWE for John Morrison. I actually feel bad that he's The Miz's sidekick. Yes, The Miz is going to do some stupid shit that we'll be talking about later, but John Morrison deserves better. It's just like Bobby Lashley. He was stuck in the mid-card for so long And I don't know if it's kind of their way for punishing Morrison. He deserves better, in my personal opinion. If they would actually give him a chance in the main event, it would just show what he's capable of. But he's going to be forever known as the Miz's bitch, no matter how much he tries not to seem that way. And the way you make Lashley look strong, obviously, is by not pinning him, which, yes, it's lazy booking, but at the same time, if you're going to push him into the main event, I can see why they did it like this. I still don't like that Bobby Lashley was a dominant U.S. champion, and then he loses because of somebody else. That's lazy booking, but at the same time, it's one way to get the belt off him and push him into the main event. I've always said that the roster brand splits are stupid. They just need to get rid of them. The talent pool is too diluted. We had this problem in 2010. That's why they got rid of the brand split. They really need to seriously think about doing that again. Now this match right here, oh my god, where do we begin? This match was just a huge giant waste of time. And then you add Reginald in, who has a thing for Sasha Banks, even though he's supposed to be Carmella's bitch. It made me care about the match less than I even did in the first place. This match proves that there are so many flaws in the women's division. When you have to have tag teams that can't even get an exciting match, this is why the women's division is so bad. This is the example right here. These four are the example of why the women's division does not need tag belts and why they don't need two separate brands. One brand for the women, one brand for every single tag belt, and maybe both divisions will be a little bit more relevant. And it exposes every single problem the women's division has. There shouldn't even be a tag division, nor should there be two brands for the women. They can't even use Asuka correctly. We still have no idea who Bianca Belair is going to face at Mania, but Raw needs serious help in the women's division. And the fact that they put Rhea Ripley over there just shows how bad the Raw women's division is. Yes, Bianca Belair could have a couple good matches out of Natalya, out of Bayley. Problem is, Bianca Belair's already beaten Bayley, so you can't have that match. That leaves a couple viable contenders, and maybe even some other people like Liv Morgan are going to get jobbed to. I don't like the women's division at all. They just need some serious help. They have some talent. Shayna Baszler should already be Raw Women's Champion 6 months ago. Nia Jax, she just hurts people. She deserves nothing. Alright, and finally we're going to be talking about the final two matches of the card technically. Randy Orton started off with Kofi Kingston, and Kofi Kingston replaced The Miz. The one thing that baffled me was that Orton got eliminated early. You would have thought it would have been Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Him getting eliminated was actually pretty good booking. I'm pretty sure it was his idea to get eliminated early to kind of keep the feud with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss going, because you know they're going to have a match at Mania, 100%. The pin by Kofi Kingston was awesome. I believe he tried that same pin on either Jeff Hardy or Sheamus, and it didn't work. Jeff Hardy, as expected, didn't win, as he's booked as a mid-card talent and has lost more than he has won. And he still has the same boring music that he did with Matt Hardy. And even teaming with Riddle because they realize he's not very well used as a singles wrestler. And I'm assuming to punish him because his brother Matt Hardy is still in AEW. I also think that his stock will also rise when fans come back and they can use the real music that got him over in 2008 and 2009 before he left to go back to Impact. Sheamus, unfortunately, cannot get out of the blocks as an upper mid-carder as he's eliminated by AJ Styles. Sadly, even with Omos, who was one of the dumbest names in the WWE in history, eventually got ejected, and AJ just can't beat Drew McIntyre. It's the same problem that Shinsuke Nakamura had. However, the worst part of this is what happened after the match. After Drew McIntyre retained, which was a great feat by itself, Bobby Lashley comes out and beats the hell out of him, which you already knew was going to happen because Bobby Lashley was talking to The Miz with MVP, and you kind of figured something was getting set up. This is an example of lazy booking because you get to see that on screen and you get to already know what's getting played out. There's no surprise element. It's not that The Miz comes out after the Elimination Chamber and beats up Drew McIntyre. No, The Miz needs help. And then, of course, after Bobby Lashley beats the hell out of Drew McIntyre, The Miz comes out, tries to go for a pin, gets a kick out, then goes for skull crushing finale, gets the pin. The only way The Miz has a chance to win a high-profile match is with somebody else's help. There is a reason he has not had a WWE Championship since 2010. His skill set is boring, and while he is an annoying heel, he's too small to be taken seriously, and he has not been over for years. Everybody can't stand The Miz. It's just like Baron Corbin. While the USA Network might like him, the fans can't stand him. I know this is all a ploy to get people to tune in, and we'll see if this does help the ratings. Honestly, what will help the ratings more than mid-carders undeserving of the championship getting titles will be having fans back in the crowds. Vaccinate all the wrestlers, start letting fans in at 25% capacity. Start touring again. Hopefully after WrestleMania we'll see live events or at least pay-per-views with fans, as they are doing fans at Raymond James Stadium, I believe at 25% capacity. Now, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. While I like the angles that Flair had with Lacey Evans, I don't like the fact that it's tarnishing Charlotte Flair, one of the best female workers. What's worse is that Asuka, who was handed the Raw Women's Championship, hasn't really had a good run and hasn't really fought anybody. She needs to drop the belt to Charlotte or switch Bayley to Raw and give her a chance to shine. We'll see what happens with Rhea Ripley, but the problem is that there are two brands of women. There are only so many talent Rhea Ripley can run through before hitting the main event or stalling in catering with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. And I must say, MVP deserves a lot of credit for carrying Raw since the draft. The Hurt Business with a mafia-like mentality, bullying Cedric Alexander until he joined, then becoming tag champions over the New Day with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, who are well over. Shelton Benjamin was established along with Brock Lesnar back in 2002. Example of how a character should be used. If he's not a part of creative already, what are you guys waiting for? He is the bright spot on Raw 100%. I don't think people give him as much credit as they should. The sooner Orton can also get out of the storyline with The Fiend, the better. Hopefully a run on SmackDown will help Orton, and Bray Wyatt deserves to be doing more than getting lit on fire and just doing nothing. Also, it is good to see Bobby Lashley finally get a shot at the WWE Championship, much like Drew McIntyre did in 2020, as I feel he was held down by politics and people like Brock Lesnar. Yes, people that just get whatever the hell they want. And finally getting the chance to shine and be in the main event without jobbing to someone and looking legitimate. Braun Strowman, I think, was the perfect person for Lashley to go through. Someone that is not easy to beat. Now, I think this might lower Strowman's credibility a little bit. It does make Lashley believable, and I think that this was the best way to use him to set him up for a fight against The Miz. Let him earn a shot at whoever the champion is, whether it be The Miz or Braun Strowman. However, I feel that my opinion is that this is going to set up a disqualification win for Bobby Lashley, and this is going to set up a program for Fastlane. I don't like that this is probably how it's going to happen, and if it does, it's lazy booking. However, I wouldn't mind seeing Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. I think that would be a great WrestleMania match. You've already got Orton and The Fiend booked, pretty much guaranteed for a match at WrestleMania. You got Edge versus Roman Reigns, that's going to be a lock. So whoever Roman Reigns fights at Fastlane is going to lose, 100%. So that match makes no sense. Now, Edge could have a warm-up match against somebody at Fastlane. My thoughts on the Elimination Chamber, what a waste of time. I was so bored during that pay-per-view. There really wasn't much of anything that I was actually caring about seeing. What I ended up enjoying more than Elimination Chamber is Bobby Lashley. I'm glad he's finally getting a chance. I don't like that they didn't use Drew McIntyre, as I feel they should have at least had him with a talk segment. But maybe they're going to set up something like Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. And if they do, I'm all for it. That is my recap of Elimination Chamber. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this bonus daily vlog, and we'll see you guys soon for more daily vlogs.